So today I wanted to talk about an idea that I think I've mentioned a couple times, but it's something that I read about years ago from an NLP trainer named Robert Dilts, who has written many books and had uh, tremendous contributions to this field. And he said something really interesting, which is he was talking about how we punctuate experience. And it's an interesting idea when you think about it, that experience um, almost acts in the same way that grammar can act. That will, if you think about it, when you have a memory, you think about the beginning of the memory and the kind of the body of the memory, and then the end of the memory. But these things are arbitrary. And when he spoke about punctuating experience, it was very interesting. He talked about the idea that you can do something, like I was making progress and then I failed, or or I was making progress and then I had an unsuccessful attempt. And what that is that's punctuating the experience of going for something, and you're punctuating, you're putting a period on it at the point of a failed attempt, or not getting the result that you want. And he suggested that you could invert that. You could say, I had a failed attempt, and then I had more attempts, and then I went on to achieve my goal. And I've actually found this to be a really useful frame when thinking about different types of experience. Not just the idea um, of going for something and then whatever result you get in an attempt and a continuation. I mean, certainly that's very helpful, and that's kept me moving at times when I felt, when I had a momentary setback. Um, but it's also something that I think about when I structure my thinking around certain activities. Um, for example, I was thinking about cleaning my desk. And the way that I was thinking about it was, well, I go through a certain amount of work and then I clean my desk. And so um, when I think about it that way, the activity or the task that I've set out for myself is coming at the end of whatever else I'm doing. And that's fine, but at times it left me feeling like I had this extra thing that I had to do at the end. I'd get done with some work and then I had to clean my desk. And so without changing anything, the only thing I shifted was I still did some work and I was still going to clean my desk, but I thought of that cleaning my desk as the preparation for the next day. And that way, when I would show up at my desk, it would already be clean. And so a lot of times now, when I have a task in front of me, I'm doing the thing that I've mentioned before of imagining myself on the other side of finishing that activity. But I'm also thinking of arriving at that finished state before I do something else. So it's like, okay, my desk is clean, and then that's inviting me to do whatever else I want to do. Um, that's how I think about when I plan my week. I like to plan my week usually on Sunday afternoons, and I love getting everything lined up and kind of getting all the pins or dominoes set up to knock over during my week. And I like to get everything just so that when I show up to do work during the week, it's actually quite easy to execute. So this is a fun idea, just noticing, with your thinking, are you noticing what's the beginning of your thought, what's the end, and could you extend beyond that or invert it in some way, so that instead of thinking of things as conclusions, you can actually think of them as the beginning of the next phase. And I always love the idea of sort of continuous movement, continuous refinement or progression. So it's very motivating for me. Now, again, that works with my motivation style. It may not work with yours. Um, Although I do think that if you if you play with how you're punctuating experience, it can be tremendously powerful. Um, Also, this idea of just assuming that setbacks are going to be part of an ongoing process. So it's not like, okay, I'm gonna go on a new diet regimen and and then be disappointed if I fall off. Like I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna fall off at some point, and I'm gonna build in the idea of getting back on and starting again, and then I'll fall off again, and then I'll start again, and so on and so on. So all that's built into the process. So it's not disappointing when it happens. It's it's a momentary setback. It's time to course correct. When you're driving, you're constantly course correcting. If you're veering a little too much to the left or to the right, you simply just bring it back and keep moving forward. So yeah, so that's basically the idea, just exploring how you punctuate experience and seeing how that can serve you in moving wherever you want to go.